What's up, Grace family? Welcome to my channel, God's Good Grace. Sitting outside, got a new setup. Hope you guys like it. Today I want to talk about a godly perspective. What are you seeing? And this teaching or this study came because something that happened, and I just felt like it was just time for me to just to teach on something like this, because it's okay if we see things differently, as long as we see things the way God wants us to see things, and not because of man. I don't always agree with man, and that sometimes gets me in trouble, but I seek to just trust God. So let's get into it. All right? Perspective. I'm just going to give you the definition of that, then we're going to get into where I'm coming out of. Of a person expecting to be something, particularly in the future, likely to happen at a future date, potential, possible, probably, likely, future, soon to be. So a godly perspective is basically tuning into what God say, see how God say, and it was soon to be. That's all I want to say. That's going to leave it at what God said. Now, I'm coming out of Numbers, chapter 13, the whole chapter and stuff, where the 12 spies had to go and spy out the land. And I'm gonna be coming from that because I want to show you how they saw things and what was the outcome. Okay, so we're gonna start with Numbers chapter 13, verses 1 through 3. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Send thou men, that they may search the land of Canaan, which I give unto the children of Israel. Of every tribe of their fathers shall ye send a man, every one a ruler among them. And Moses, by the commandment of the Lord, sent them from the wilderness of Paran. All those men were head of the children of Israel. So God commanded him to say, hey, look, take the best of the best from each tribe. They have to be rulers. They had power of persuasion. They had the capability to listen. They had the capability to carry out God's plan. God says, send these people. So it wasn't even Moses' idea. This was God's idea. God says, send the best rulers from each tribe, 12 men. And the 12 chosen to go Paran that was in the wilderness spy out to Canaan was sent by God. Now, I'm not going to mention all 12 names of the tribe because I'll probably butcher the names and stuff because I'm still learning, but it was 12. There was 12 tribes, and there was 12, so that made 12 men from each tribe. Power of persuasion, had the ability to carry out what God said, and had the ability to understand. And I even looked up their names, and I'm just going to give you just a couple of their names, just to show you what their names were. Like, one was to understand and obey. One of the other names was to judge. Caleb's name was faithful, devotion. Igal was he will redeem. Joshua, hawk light or fortunate. Hawk light means missing, nothing was going on around you. So he had a warlike quality. To keep a vigilant eye. This was their name. One other name was people of God. And the last one of the 12 was God's redemption. So these names meant something. And it meant that God was with them. They all had names that distinguished that they had the ability to carry out what God told them to do. And they was told how to go into the land. They was told what to look for. They was told what to bring back. and they was told how to feel, how to keep their emotions intact. So let's turn to Numbers chapter 13. We're gonna be in that whole chapter, but now we're in verses 17 to 18. We're gonna skip down to 17 to 18. And Moses sent them to spy out the land of Canaan, and said unto them, Get you up this way, southward, and go up into the mountain, and see the land, what it is, and the people that dwell therein, whether they be strong or weak, few or many, and what the land is, whether it be fat or lean, whether there be wood therein or not. And be ye of good courage, and bring of the fruit of the land. Of the land. Bring the fruit of the land. They was told to be of good courage. They was told to spy out the land. And this story means a lot to me, because God was putting in my spirit that they went and they experienced these things together for 40 days. 40 days. I went on a vacation with my family for 5 days. It was awesome. We ate together, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We got off the ship together. We explored the ship together. And all it did was bring us closer. It gave us memories. And this is what this group of 12 men did. And I can just imagine them probably talking about, did you see God split the Red Sea? Did you see the cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night? Like, I can imagine them probably singing songs or probably reminiscing, coming out of eat. Like, it brought them together. They stuck around the land together. And it brings me back to Deuteronomy chapter 31:6, where it says, Be strong and of good courage. Fear not, nor be afraid of them, for the Lord thy God, it is he that does go with thee. He will not fail thee, nor forsake thee. It brings me to that. So they walked together, they searched the land together, and they did this for 40 days. So we know that they should all have the same perspective, even if they tell it differently. Just like Matthew, Luke, Mark, and John, how they told the same story, but just a slightly different, but yet it still lined up with the exact same story. And so these men, 12 men, spent time together, sneaking around, avoiding the people of Canaan. Let's keep going. Now we down to verses 23 and 25. And they came unto the brook of Eshcol, and cut down from thence a branch with one cluster of grape, and they bared it between two upon a staff, and they brought of the pomegranates and of the figs. The place was called the brook of Eshcol, because of the cluster of grape which the children of Israel cut down from thence. And they returned from searching of the land after 40 days. So God told them He's gonna give them this land. God sent them out there, and they was able to spy out the land. They saw the land, and then they were able to bring back fruit, tangible fruit of the promise. And once again, whenever God do something, it's always an overflow. It wasn't just a little regular cluster of grape that they can carry in their hand. No, it was abundant. It was so much that 2 people had to bear it. You know what I'm saying? God was looking for them. God knew how the land looked and what was ahead. All God was looking for was your faith, their faith. So we got this picture, right? They went to spot. They was the best of the land, of the tribe. They was capable of carrying out God's promises. God's vision and His instructions. Their names were significant and meant that God was with them, and that they were already conquerors and victorious already because God was with them. And they was told to go spy out the land and tell me what the land was, tell me what kind of people was in there, and then bring back fruit of the land. And all this was to do what? To encourage the people, The fruit was to show that God kept his promise, even though he already split the Red Sea and done all these things. This fruit is what God said it is. Look at the fruit. It's tangible. This was to inspire the people. But let's keep going. Let's get going. Let's go to Exodus chapter 3, verse 8. And it came down to the, and I came down to deliver them out of the hands of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of the land unto a good land and a large, unto a land flowing with milk and honey, unto a place of the Canaanites, the Hittites, and the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hittites, and the Jebusites. So God already knew what was in the land. God already knew what's ahead. He already knew that there was giants in the land. So that brings me to this question: what giants are you facing? And these Hittites and the Amorites, all their names meant defeat already. The Amorites was people that licked up evildoers. Hittite, one who's broken, who fears. Jebusite, trampled down. Amorites, bitter, a rebel, a babbler. And the Canaanite, this low land by the sea. This meant that it was just a low land by the sea. God knew what was ahead. Once again, looking for your faith. He told you, be of good courage. I know there's giants in the land. I know there's going to be problems, obstacles in your life. But will you still go? Will you still believe and see it through my eyes? Okay? The land was God promised. The land had challenging situations to overcome, just like life today. Just like life today, but God promised will bring you through. Are you still believing on the promises of God? Are you still believing on the word of God? We are well able to overcome. Believe me when I tell you that with God, we are well able to overcome. Listen to this. Numbers chapter 13, verse 30. And Caleb stilled the people before Moses and said, let us go up at once and possess it, for we are well able to overcome it. He was ready. He kept the promises. He kept what God did for him. He knew that God was with him. He trusted God. And he was ready to do what God asked him to do. But watch this. The others, they saw the others mightier than themselves. This caused an evil report. Numbers chapter 13, 31. But the men that went up with him said, we are not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we are. How do you see yourself? How do you see yourself? Do you see yourself less than? Are you comparing yourself to other people? If I sit here right now and try to compare myself to Barry Bennett, Wendell Parr, Andrew Womack, Creflo Dollar, even my own pastor, Jeremy Dunn, if I compare myself, then of course I might start seeing myself less than. Or I try to build myself up and now I got pride. No, just do what God called you to do. How do you see things? This was an evil report because it made the people forget the promises of God and all his benefits. Psalms 103:2 said, forget not his benefits. They saw themselves less than. The giants never saw them. It never even said that the giants saw them. How you see yourself determine how you move, how you live, and what you say. Remember, it says, for as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. The battle was lost the moment they said the opposite of God. They saw the opposite of God. Think about it. The battle was lost the moment they said, is the land that eateth up the habitants thereof. And all the people that we saw in are men of great statures. Numbers 13:32. And we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight. Numbers 13:33. So I ask you, what are you seeing? What are you believing? Whose words are you trusting? And the reason I bring all this up to sum this up, they slept together. They walked together. They watched each other back. But two came out and saw that, yeah, there's giants in the land, but the promises of God is there too. We could take this. The other one said, no. Yeah, God said the land does flow with milk and honey, but there's giants in our lives. There's obstacles that we can't overcome. We can't do this. And they forgot that God is with them. They forgot that he sent his word and it healed them. He forgot that he said, go, I will give you this land flowing with milk and honey. He told them that there was going to be Hivites and the Amorites and the Canaanites. He said they were going to be there. But Caleb and Joshua was the only one that saw it through God's perspective. What are you seeing? They saw that God was able to take. That's why they said, let's go up quickly. Let's do it quickly. Why? Because he didn't want the people to turn. He didn't want the people to forget. He wanted them to be discouraged. He said, let's go. But the other 10 persuaded the people. They even got to the point where they were ready to make a captain and stone and go back to the problem that they already had. That's how people are today. They'd rather go back and suffer the problem they got instead of pressing through to the promised land, to the promise that God had. And I brought this up because I had a situation where I didn't see something the way my brother saw something, and it caused a division between us. Now, I stayed in the spirit. I didn't do anything wrong, and I'm not saying he done anything wrong. But I decided to lean on the word of God and trust that over whatever was in that, whatever the giants were that was in the land at that time, whatever we were facing. I decided to trust God and his word. Change your view of things and you will gain a godly perspective no matter what giants come your way, because you know God is faithful. Can anybody here leave a comment and tell me, when did God ever fail you? When did God ever drop the ball? When did you ever give God all you got and he did not come through for you? Where did you go wrong the moment you gave God your trust and he dropped the ball? He had it in my life. If things went wrong in my life, it wasn't God. It either me opening the door to the devil, my cooperation, or me not understanding something properly. But God is faithful. He still will come wherever I'm at and bring me through. He will show me where I erred at, where I'm wrong, and maybe I'm praying wrong. Maybe I'm believing wrong. Maybe I misunderstood something wrong. But it's not God. So I'm saying to this, to you, Grace family, that we are all different people. 12 people went and spied out the land for 40 days, not for 1 week. They spent 40 days. Imagine bonding with somebody for 40 days and experiencing all this stuff together, and yet 2 come back with a whole different perspective than the other 10. That right there caused them, if you go on to read Numbers 14, that caused them to be in the wilderness for 40 years, for every day that they spied out the land. He caused their children that they said that was going to be eaten up to be the ones that go in and possess the land. That's what's happening. If you don't trust God, you cause yourself to go through a wilderness. You cause yourself to go through trouble that you shouldn't have to go through. Hey, I'm telling you, faith will have you standing out here by yourself. Faith will have you looking crazy. But I'd rather look crazy with God than look like I'm in my right mind by myself. Okay? So the next time you're faced with troubling things, remember to say quickly, let us go up at once and possess it, for we are well able to overcome it. Thank you, Grace family. Till next Monday. We love you.
What's up, Grace family? We appreciate all the videos and we have been encouraged.
We love all that you do. Keep up the good work.
And this is from the Johnsons.